Hello everyone, welcome to Invice Academy. So today we are going to dive into one of the most interesting and important subjects, that is our country's history. So we will explore Indian history, which is divided into three major periods: ancient, medieval and modern. Along with, we shall focus on Karnataka's history. So let's go step by step and understand how our civilization has grown over time. So let's start with ancient history. This period goes back thousands of years to a time when early humans first settled here. This we're gonna study in prehistoric India. So, one of the most famous early civilizations in India was the Indus Valley civilizations, which had well planned cities like Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. They were experts in building houses, drainage systems, and using advanced tools. Right? They had a very better urban planning and architecture. So next, after this civilization, we're gonna study about Vedic period. So after Vedic period came, where the Rig Veda was written and the foundations of Hindus and Hinduism were laid. Right? We're gonna study about Vedas and other socio-economic structure. So next we have the powerful Mauryan Empire, which was founded by Chandragupta Maurya. Right? His grandson Ashoka is one of the most famous kings in Indian history. So we're gonna study about them. Ashoka, the most famous kings in Indian history because he adopted and spread Buddhism after realizing the horrors of war in Kalinga. So moving on to the next part, the Gupta Empire. So where they gave India a golden age. Mauryan Empire ಆಯಿತು. Next Gupta Empire ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಓದ್ತೀವಿ, it was called as Golden Age of India, where they were advanced in science and technology. They had better literature and arts. So they had advancements in art, literature, science and mathematics. So scholars like Aryabhatta, who made significant contributions to astronomy. So we shall study about them. So in southern India, we're gonna study about Chola, Chera and Pandya dynasties, who built beautiful temples and established trade with other countries. Right? So their contributions in art and architecture, their temples and architecture, Ajanta, Ellora, Stupa and monuments and many more. So we shall study about them in detail in the coming sessions. So the next part is medieval history. So now let's talk about the medieval period. So this is when powerful kingdoms and empires ruled India. The Delhi Sultanate. They were one of the first to establish Islamic rule in northern India. They constructed impressive buildings like the Qutub Minar. Right? So we shall study about them in detail. After them, then came the mighty Mughal Empire. So from Babur to Aurangzeb, we shall study. So this Mughal Empire, they were very famous for their architecture, administration and cultural developments. Right? So the Taj Mahal, built by Emperor Shah Jahan, which is one of the most beautiful buildings in the world. The Mughals played a major role in uniting large parts of India under one rule. So we're gonna study about them as well. Next, what we are going to study about South India. The Vijayanagara Empire. They were one of the greatest powers. So their capital Hampi was a grand city known for its stunning temples and structures. So we also had the rise of Maratha. Next we have Maratha Empire. Here we read about the brave king Shivaji who challenged Mughal power and established a strong and independent empire. So what temples and architecture? Brihadeshwara temple, Jagannath temple, about all these things we need to know in detail, like who built it, under which rule, which kingdom, so like that. Science and technology, developments in mathematics and astronomy, contributions of medieval scholars. Next, we're gonna read about modern history. So, as we move into modern history, the British started gaining control of India. British expansion in India. So, it all began with the East India Company, which slowly expanded its power after the Battle of Plassey in 1757. Over time, the British completely dominated India. But during this time, what we study is Indian society also saw some changes. Some social and religious reform movements happens where we know about Rajaram Mohan Roy. He worked very hard to get rid of social evils like sati and worked on women's rights. So let's know about this in further sessions. And of course, the most important part of modern Indian history is our freedom struggle. Leaders like Mahatma Gandhi, Subhash Chandra Bose, and Jawaharlal Nehru led massive movements like the non-cooperation movement, civil disobedience movement, and this what. So this inspired millions to fight for independence. Finally, in 1947, after years of struggle, we became free from British rule. So, however, this also led to the partition of India and the creation of Pakistan. So what happens? We all gonna study. Next part is Karnataka history. So finally, let's focus on Karnataka history part. So where we know that Karnataka has a rich history that dates back thousands of years. Early kingdoms like the Kadambas, Gangas played an important role in shaping the region. Later, the Vijayanagara Empire, with its capital in Hampi, became one of the strongest empires in South India. Right? They are known for building spectacular temples which are still admired even today. So, we shall study about that too. The Hoysala dynasty was another great dynasty in Karnataka. They built very famous Beluru and Halebeedu temples, which are examples of the most beautiful craftsmanship. So we're gonna study about that also. So during the British period, many leaders from Karnataka actively participated in the freedom struggle. Personalities like R.H. Deshpande and K. Hanumantaya contributed greatly to India's independence movement. So we shall study about them as well. Temples and architecture, famous temples like Virupaksha, Shravana Belagola in Hasan district. The next is science and technology in Karnataka, the contributions to education and research from the notable figures like C.V. Raman, Dr. Ambedkar, Vishweshwaraya, and so on. So, after all this, we need to do we need to solve n number of PYQs. Only studying is not important. So we should solve n number of PYQs to understand question paper pattern, previous year questions and its standard. So how they are going to ask in the exam. So it is not that important to read number of books but to practice and learn the aptitude of solving the questions. So, which are the books to be referred for ancient history? Ancient India by R.S. Sharma, NCRT. You can read that. Indian History for Civil Services by Krishna Reddy, which is summarized for exams. And then Old NCRT, Ancient India by R.S. Sharma as well. For ancient history. For medieval history, Medieval India by Satish Chandra. Advanced Studying the History of Medieval India by J.L. Mehta. The next is Indian History for Competitive Exams by Krishna Reddy for quick revision. You can do that. For modern history, A Brief History of Modern India by Rajiv Aher, Spectrum. The next is India's Struggle for Independence by Bipin Chandra. And Indian History for Civil Services by Krishna Reddy. It's all your choice which book you need to refer, because most of you have already read some of the books I have quoted here. You can just revise it. For Karnataka's history, History of Karnataka by Suryanath Kamath, Karnataka's History for KS by L.S. Sheshagiri Rao. That as well. In general, you can refer to Lucen's General Knowledge for quick revision across various topics which is related to history. So that's it. We shall learn together in the future sessions. Thank you and all the best.